The information presented in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not meant to be a substitute for clinical mental health treatment. If you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health crisis, please dial 988 or head to your nearest emergency room.
Welcome to another episode of the Black People Die by Suicide 2 podcast. I'm your co-host, T-Kea.
And I'm your co-host, Jordan.
Hey. I forgot to say, where our mission is to talk about all things mental health with an emphasis on suicide in the Black community. So before we jump into today's topic, what we always do a check-in to see how we're doing so that we can kind of practice mindfulness, because a lot of times we always say, I'm fine when we're not feeling fine. So, Jordan, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good today. I know I'm not supposed to say good, but I'm really excited about a lot of things that are going on. T-Kea and I are getting ready to go on a trip together. Some exciting things coming up with, the podcast and things that were kicking off the ground. T-Kea showed me the other day, we had a listener on every continent with the exception of Antarctica. So if you know somebody who is doing some work on Antarctica, encourage them to listen.
Yes. Countries I never even heard of is
Right.
listening to the podcast. I was like, I never heard of this country before.
Yeah, so I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling really excited. How are you feeling?
I'm very excited. I think that I'm amazed at how we talked about something from an idea to like execution, and like now that the podcast is growing into something even more, which I'm excited. So overall, I'm feeling very well. I just think that, again, just make sure I'm taking time to take care of myself and to take breaks. So yeah. So we have a special guest here today, and I'm excited because these are people who are family to me, and I don't think, no, I've never had family on the podcast yet. So we are actually going to talk about mental health, suicide as it relates to children. And I know a lot of times, actually, an episode that will have aired already. We talk a lot about parents who have lost children, but I've never really seen any podcast in general, or we haven't talked about like a parent who actually is currently like in the struggle and really working to support their child while they're going through their mental health challenges. So today we have Alisha Bryant as well as Harmony Allen. So welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
So y'all got to do the check-in. Y'all got to check in with us to tell us like how you're doing. So whether that's Alisha want to start first or Harmony want to start first, how you doing?
Hi, Miss Kia, and hi, Miss Jordan. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good. Nervous?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to get through it. How you doing, Leash?
I am tired. I'm tired. Y'all can go ahead and be good and excited, but I'm tired.
Okay, well, I mean, those honest answers.
It's an honest answer, yeah.
Good, excited, tired, nervous. Hey, a range of emotions, right?
Right.
So, I'll actually, Jordan, you can kind of dive into,
Sure.
Before we get into the interview, we'll share a little bit on mental health and suicide as it relates to children before we kind of talk to Alisha and Harmony.
Yes. So, according to the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, suicide is actually now the second leading cause of death for children ages 10 to 19. That's very, very young. And suicide rates have actually been increasing for youth, especially for Black youth. The rate for Black males has increased by 60% from ages 10 to 19. And they're also seeing a big increase in Black girls that are coming into the hospital for suicide attempts. So, this issue is affecting our children, and we just wanted to bring awareness to that. So we have, Alisha and Harmony here to kind of talk about their experience. And I'll start with Miss Harmony. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself, how old you are, and what you like to do.
Hi, I'm Harmony and I'm 9 years old. And for fun, I like to be on my phone.
Ooh, okay. What do you like to do? You got a favorite app?
TikTok.
TikTok.
Of
Okay,
course. We love
okay.
TikTok, right? Anything else besides TikTok? What else do you like to
And
do?
Roblox. I like to play Roblox with friends or like even by myself.
Okay. I love games too.
What
And I
about
like to
no, what else do you like to do?
sing.
Oh, sing. Okay, you got a few things that you like to do then. I know I don't think your mother could sing, but I don't know.
I won't even try.
So, Harmony, just kind of wanted to get you to let us know what helps. What do you feel like helps you when you feel sad?
Crying.
Okay.
I'm so proud of her for saying that.
Yes, it's getting it out.
Yeah, because a lot of times people will be like, "Oh, I don't want to cry," or "I'm afraid to cry," or they may feel embarrassed or judged. But crying it's an emotion. A lot of times people will apologize, especially Jordan.
Yes.
If Jordan starts crying, she may cry. If Jordan starts crying, she'll be like, "I'm sorry," and I always say like, we don't have to apologize for crying. Crying is an emotion, it's a release. It's okay to do it. So I'm glad that you said that you cry when you feel sad because it's important to do that and to not bottle it up. So I'm proud of you, Harmony. Anything else that you like to do when you feel sad?
I like to yell.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
That's also a release.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Most like what you like to do when you're sad will help you feel better.
Um,
What about your nails?
well, like acrylic nails, like fake press-ons.
oh,
Okay.
okay. Getting beautified. That's some self care. That's
Yeah.
good. Self care at a young age. I'm not mad at
And
that.
like go out with my friends.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Spending time with other people. That's good.
Oh, look, she got some coping skills in
Yes.
place,
Yes.
right?
I love
Uh-huh.
that.
Harmony, you're doing very well. You should be very proud of yourself. So you want to
Yeah.
ask Alicia?
Sure. Alicia, what can you talk about? I guess the challenges that you've experienced, um, helping Harmony sort of navigate her journey with her mental health.
Yes. It's been a long journey trying to figure out what's best for Harmony and just trying to help her navigate through what she's dealing with. Um, we're now down to two medications and therapy sessions twice a week. It helps stabilize her, but sometimes she will have episodes in which I have to be sensitive into those episodes. So as a parent, it's frustrating. It's overwhelming. I know a lot of people say, "How can you get frustrated or overwhelmed over your child?" But it's a whole different ball game when they're dealing with a mental illness. Harmony has been diagnosed with PTSD, separation anxiety, and severe depression.
Yeah, I also have PTSD and depression myself, so I understand and I identify with that. Are there any, I guess, behaviors that you notice, like any signs that Harmony may be struggling with her mental health that you've, I guess, become privy to since you started this journey?
Yes, yeah. So when she's overwhelmed, um, when she doesn't want to talk or she's feeling sad or she feels like she's alone, she always revert back to, well, I'm just going to kill myself. Or she actually come up with a plan to kill herself. But what I love about her is that she would come up with this plan, but then she'll reach out to someone and say, hey, I'm planning to do this. So that kind of, gives us a heads up and, help her. um, to figure out, what the issue is. So when it first started, she wrote a letter to my mom. I was at work, and my mom sent me the letter. And I couldn't really tell if it was her attention seeking, if I must say, because once you become a parent, children do things that want they want your attention. So I couldn't really tell if it was attention seeking or if it was real. I didn't find out that it was real until I took her to the hospital. Really, that day after, maybe yeah, the day after, because I got off work late, and she actually told the nurses and stuff that she tried a couple of times, or she thought about it, and that's when I knew, okay, this is real.
Whew, and you know what about that? It just, as you were talking, Alicia, it made me think about when I was a child because I started struggling with suicidal thoughts at 11. I was in middle school. I used to often think about ways of like wanting to end my life, and I never told anybody at all because, for one, Alicia, we all know we definitely wasn't talking about mental health
Oh,
growing up in the
no.
90s.
No.
So I didn't even know what mental health was in middle school. I didn't even know what suicide was in middle school. I just knew that I had moments of often feeling sad and not wanting to be alive. That's just kind of what I knew. So while yes, it's very hard to watch it, but the fact that Harmony is only 9 years old and she's able to voice and say, "Hey, I'm struggling. This is what's going on," is like commendable because she's 9. I couldn't even do it in middle school. So it's very hard to watch a child go through that. But the fact that she's reaching out is really commendable because think about so many kids who don't reach out.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of strength in being able to ask for help. So often people associate that with weakness, but I think that that's definitely a strength that Harmony has in her journey and being able to voice, "Hey, I'm not feeling well," and reach out for support. That's big.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel like treatment, and I know it's probably up and down, do you feel like it's having a positive impact on her, or what do you feel like is missing? Like, how do you feel like the treatment process has been?
Um, if I be honest, I really don't like the treatment process because I don't want um my my thing was I thought the medication will help her with her thoughts and just trying to keep her, positive or something like that. But the medicine actually stabilized her to the point that she's just zoned out. And it's just like I don't want her to be zoned out. I don't want her sitting around just relaxed and looking around like she's sleepy all the time. I don't want that for her. I don't want her down.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that the medicine makes her sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to put her to sleep. I don't want to keep putting her to sleep. I just thought that the medication would, you know, help her. I don't really actually know what I thought, but I guess I thought that it would like keep her from because Harmony also said that she used to hear voices. She don't hear them now, but the voices told her, to kill herself, or the voices told her to do whatever, and the voices have stopped since she's been taking the medication. But it also makes her like really, sluggish,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want her sluggish. So I think that's the problem. That's the issue I'm having with her medication. But I know she has to take it, of course, but I don't want her sluggish.
Right. Have you talked to the doctor about making like a medication adjustment, or what are they saying about that?
Yes. So she first originally started off with one medication, um, and then they upped the dose 2 times. But she had another attempt, so they put her on two medications. And I did bring it up to the doctor's attention, like she just feels very sluggish. As Harmon does say that she just feels like she just doesn't want to do anything. Um, but they did change the medication. First time she was taking Prozac, I think that's what it's called,
Mm-hmm.
and now she's taking a Biblify,
Abilify?
and yeah, and then there's another one called Latrimogen. Um,
Lamentogene, Lamictal.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's it. She's taking both of those. So she did change her medication, but it's still, still the same result. But it does help her. It does help her a lot that she's not, so angry. Because also what comes with Harmony's suicide thoughts, she gets angry, she gets aggressive, she's, self harm. And I don't mean like she's cutting herself or anything, but she likes to bang her head against the wall, or she's punching the wall, or she's destroying her things in the room. That so that that helps her, but I don't like it putting her down.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that's the only thing, like when it comes to like mental health treatment, is sometimes like it takes a while to find like the right cocktail,
Yes.
if you will. Like, because I know for me, I went through, and Jordan, I know you too as well, like went through so many different like med adjustments to now to the point where I'm like, okay, the medication that I have now, I feel like, okay, I don't feel sluggish. I don't feel tired. I don't feel like zoned out or anything. Like, it just seems like it took like a very long time before they found like the right one. So I know
Right.
that's probably frustrating, especially how does that work with her being in school? Like, if she's feeling tired or zoned out, how does that impact her at school?
A lot.
Yeah.
So when she goes to school, she does fight to stay up because the
Mm.
one that she takes in the morning really makes her sleepy. So she fights to stay up in school. There's been times that she just fell asleep, but the school knows what she's going through. So sometimes they just send her to the nurse and let her rest. The school has been a great help. And then she always joke and say, when she falls asleep in school, she just picture me saying, "Harmony, get up." She said she opens her eyes and she said that helps her in her mind. In her mind, she sees her mom coming and walking into class.
I think that would wake me up too.
Yeah.
Harmony, can you tell us a little bit about how school's going for you?
School been going good, and like my mom said, this school helps me a lot because like when I'm like about to go to sleep, my teacher says like you can go downstairs, you can go to the nurse, but I don't want you sleeping in class. And yeah, I just like that school.
Um, it sounds like you feel supported at your school, Harmony.
Yeah,
Good. You have a favorite subject?
math.
Man, that's my least favorite. I wish I was good at math. That is exciting. I'm glad you like math. Matter of fact, let me back up. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be um. I, before I thought of being like a hairstylist and a nail stylist and a makeup stylist, but then I thought about it more and I want to be a famous singer.
Hey.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I know a celebrity already in the making. Okay, cool. Um, I guess I never really thought about it, but Alicia, how has I guess Harmony's mental health probably doesn't just affect you, but I imagine it would affect the entire family as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. It's been a journey.
Hmm.
Um, because everyone have to be sensitive to harmony. There's I have two other children. And because of Harmony dealing with her mental illness, I put restrictions on how much we can play with her because sometimes when we're playing things that make her feel separated, for instance, we did one my kids and I are always pranking each other, so we do nothing but pranks in this house. But it triggers Harmony sometimes. So one time we were acting like we were all asleep, me and my other two children, and when Harmony walked in the room, um, we kept acting like we were asleep, and then we'd get up, and then once she walked in the room, we acted like she was. I mean, we acted like we were asleep again. And so although we were playing, it triggered Harmony a lot and she felt as though that she was not part of the family. She felt as though like we didn't want her to be around or anything of that sort. So once that game happened, I realized we have to, kind of be mindful of
Mhm.
how much we can play with her, things that we say, things that we do. Um, Even now, Harmony has a different father who is deceased. My other children, they go to their father's house, and Harmony is left and stuck with me. So I have to be sensitive to her when she's at home with me by herself. I have to understand if she's lashing out. I have to give her that space. So within my family, we've been, navigating through. Um, Harmony really does with separation anxiety. She really, really, really struggles with that. So being that she doesn't have her father, she all she knows is mom. So if I go to the store or if I go on vacation or something, Harmony shuts down. And she usually stays with my mom, but she literally will get sick, headaches, fevers, and everything because she's not near me. Um, so it kind of puts a damper on my life because I can't do much because I have to think about Harmony. So my vacations, I can't stay more than 3 days because that third day, well, she calls me even when I'm on the way to the airport. She's blowing my phone up. But by that third day, she's about to have a meltdown. And so I know that I have to come home. And it just, if I be honest, as a parent, I want time to. I also deal with diagnosed with severe depression. So sometimes, I want self care days. I want a self care trip or anything of that sort. But as a parent, I have to think about Harmony first, and that's kind of overwhelming because it's like I want to be free too, and I want that time to myself too.
Mm-hmm.
My family's a big support, but she wants to be with her mom. Like, is she follows me to the bathroom, and I understand that I'm using the bathroom, she's outside the door, and but I understand and I get it, but it's a little extreme. but but that's what we're dealing with. And what I love about my family, we work together. We're all working together. Um, when she goes to my brother's house, he knows that she has to take her medication, and we're all very sensitive to Harmony.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, as her mom and as her caretaker, what it is that you're doing for your own self care.
Yeah. So before she was diagnosed with everything, before I actually knew, because she was actually dealing with this since she was 8, maybe 7, 8. I never knew. So I always knew something was wrong. So I would put her in therapy, but I was like, no, it's more than this. I don't get out very much. Before I found out, I was always out trying to just enjoy myself, just as a mom, just I need a break. Um, but now I don't do much of self care anymore because my first what I worry about is Harmony. I really worry about Harmony. So I try not to, spend too much time away from her. So I don't get to do what I used to do. Before I used to go get my hair done, go get my nails done, go get my feet done. All of those things meant something to me. But now I don't really do it as often as I should. Um, I'm going to try to get back to it, but I just have to make sure she's okay first. Like I said, she follows me to the bathroom. If I go to the store, she's having a panic attack, and the store is down the street. So I have to kind of balance, and help and make her understand that mommy's here, nothing is happening to me, but at the same time, mommy has a life. So I'm still trying to balance that. I'm not all the way there. I'm trying to, like I said, I deal with my own depression as well. So it's very overwhelming when I'm trying to take care of myself, and then I have to turn around and take care of her.
Yeah, I can imagine. Only can imagine just because it's hard just taking care of yourself when you're somebody with a struggling with your mental health, but then to have to take care of a child who's not just taking care of a child, but just a child who's also struggling with their mental health as well is very overwhelming. And so like I leave Alicia alone, but sometimes I be on her about taking care of herself because I be like, be like, you just out here, you know. And Alicia has like, I've known Alicia since 2008. We went to college together before I transferred to Howard. So I've known Alicia for a very long time, and her oldest daughter is my goddaughter. So just to kind of with knowing all that Alicia has kind of like been through, and then just even seeing like how she's, you know, she's a great mom and like always willing to like sacrifice what most good parents would do, but
Right.
just oh, and just like she said, just joking, you know, just having a good time with the kids, and um but still just trying to find that balance of taking care of yourself is a lot. So, you know, I try. I know because even when we talked about before, Alicia was supposed to come do the walk, but she was being ordained at the time at her church.
Oh, right, right, right.
And
Right.
so I said, "Girl, it's okay. Don't do it. Don't come. Like you got a lot going on." So I think it's also knowing when we're talking about self-care, like knowing when not to put too much on our plate, like setting boundaries
Right.
and being like, "Okay, I got my own mental health stuff. I got my, you know, I'm trying to be there for Harmony, but you're also still trying to be there for, you know, Saya and Malachi, and then work, and then everything that you're doing in the church. It's like you're juggling all these different balls in the air. You know, you're only like one person.
Right.
So
Right.
I would always, you know, I need to charge you to be like, you know, sometimes even with self care, just sometimes just saying no, like I can't do it. Get somebody else to do it.
Yes. Man. I guess Harmony, do you have any words of encouragement for kids that are, I guess, experiencing things like you're experiencing them? Any kids that may be struggling with their depression or feeling sad? Any words of advice? Anything you want to say for kids who feel like you feel?
Um, stay brave. I don't know.
You said to breathe.
Stay brave.
Said be
To be
brave.
brave.
Oh, be
Oh, that's
brave.
beautiful. Yes, I
Yes,
love
be
that.
brave. Yes, be brave. Yeah, it is. It's hard. I can imagine, you know, just, you know, and the thing is, I'm so glad that Harmony as well as Alicia's here just because it's like showing in real time.
Right.
It's not showing after the fact,
Right.
God forbid. You know, like a lot of
Right.
stories that you hear, it's always like, oh, you know, this is what happened, but nobody's actually talking about it like while they're going through it. And I think the fact that we're giving light to this is saying, like, the rate of black children like just with depression, anxiety, struggling with their mental health, right now black children having the highest rate of suicide, just black people overall right now have the highest rate of suicide. And so that's why we think it's super important to have this conversation, and even asking you, Leash, like, what words of encouragement would you give to other parents who may be like in the same boat that you're in?
Um, I would definitely tell them to take one day at a time. It's not going to be easy, so I'm not going to sit here and say it gets better, um, because it doesn't. Um, for instance, I was just telling Kia yesterday, I didn't even know if Harmony was going to be on the show or not. She had an episode yesterday where she just wanted to be left alone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a real bad episode. So we're still dealing with Harmony. It's getting better. Some days she's good. Some days it's just like, okay, let's back up from Harmony, let her breathe and do what she needs to do to get it out. So I would definitely tell parents to be a parent. Don't try to be the therapist. Don't try to be the psychologist. Just be a parent. Um, 'Cause before, I tried to be the psychologist and the therapist, and she didn't need that. She didn't need her mom as therapist or psychologist. She needed her mom. And that's where most parents lack in. They try to be everything else but what you're supposed to be, a mom or a dad. So once I, realized that and I got myself together, I take it one day at a time, just being her mom. Just, there's been times I just held her and just, holding her, made her feel better. Um, and also was saying, get yourself checked as well. So, like I said, I was also diagnosed with severe depression. I'm in therapy. A lot of people think therapy, I used to think so too, but a lot of people think that therapy means that you're crazy or something, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not. It's not. Um, when I first went to therapy, I was like, I should not be here. This is not,
Right.
this is not me. But I love therapy now. I absolutely love therapy, and therapy gets me through, and as well as God. I have a prayer for life. I'm always praying. I'm always praying. I'm not perfect, but I'm always praying. So that's definitely helping. Prayer, therapy, self care, and being a parent will help you get through.
I'm so glad you said that. And you said self care, but going to therapy is a part of self care too.
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
and I mean, yeah, we could talk about nails and all that stuff too, but it's like going to therapy is also practicing self care as well, because it's like you want to make sure that you're your best self as much as you can be so you can support harmony. Because you talk about like put your mask on first before, like when you're on the
Right.
plane, I always
Yep.
be like, put your mask on first before you put the other person's on. Because naturally, like if you're on a plane, most parents are going to go put their child's on first. But
Right.
what happens if you pass out while putting your child's mask on?
Right.
So I think
Right.
therapy is like a way for you to like keep your mask on while still also supporting harmony, like put her mask on, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to say, as y'all were talking, I was over here fighting back tears. I am the crybaby, but um, Harmony, I am so proud of you for coming on and just sharing your experience.
Yes, Leon, let's give some hand claps for
Yes.
harmony. Put them on right now.
I am so
I
proud
am
of you.
very
Like,
grateful. I'm very proud of Harmony. I'm
Yes,
very
harmony.
She has done amazing things that I thought she would never do. She had a concert at school, and she was brave enough to go up there and sing,
oh,
and she did it so fiercely. She did an awesome job, and she was nervous, but Harmony is starting to step out her bubble, her comfort zone, because she don't want to miss life growing up. She want to, still have fun as a kid, and not allow what she's going through to overtake her and just give up. And so every day she's trying something new. She's trying nails. She's, gaining new friends. I'm very proud of her. She's gaining new friends. And she's just doing bold things. Harmony has been through a lot. You sure I can tell it? Okay. Harmony's been through a lot. So, before she was born, her father was murdered. I was 8 months pregnant, so she never met her father. And then the uncle that was taking care of her and stepping in as a father, he also got murdered. The same age as her father, the same way. So then she kind of attached herself um, to her grandmother, um, but her grandmother, she was in her life, but she kind of just faded away. So now Harmony feels like anyone that comes into her life, and then also I had a best friend that we kind of fell out, and Harmony was really attached to her. So being that we fell out, and then my divorce, um, he was taking care of Harmony since she was 2, and we divorced around when she was 8. And he kind of told her that, I'm not your father. I would never be your father. So that kind of really, really, really put a damage in Harmony's heart. So anyone that comes into her life, she's very fearful and says, you're just gonna leave me anyway. And that's her thing. So, come in, she's meeting someone, and she doesn't want to get close because she feels as though everyone that comes into her life is going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And she deals with that. So the fact that she's making friends and, giving people chances is really, really, really brave of her. And I'm so proud of her. I'm very proud of her, that she's coming out of her comfort zone and, living life and not allowing this to overtake her.
Yeah.
yeah.
I,
I'm so proud of
I
you.
know. I'm proud of you too, Harmony. Oh my gosh, I'm super proud of you. I know it's not easy at all, but the fact that you're only 9 years old, you're getting up, you're talking about it, people are going to be listening to this podcast episode all over the world. It'll be on YouTube and Spotify and iHeartRadio and all these places. And so, just by you sharing your story, like you're gonna help other kids that are your age. They're gonna say, if Harmony is working through this and she's getting through it and she's able to
Right.
make friends and sing and still just live a life. Like other kids gonna say, if Harmony could do it, I can do it.
Right.
So you should be super proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think other kids are going to hear your story and really identify with you. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. I lost my dad, and it really affected me too. And it was definitely the reason I developed such severe depression that I did. Um, so I just want to give you a virtual hug and let you know that everything's going to be okay. And we support you here. We're here for you. If you need something, have your mom hit us on IG or something. We'll try to make it
Oh,
happen.
don't tell her you here for it, because she will have to take her to Five Below every day.
Oh, you know what, Harmony? I'm gonna take you to Five Below. When I reach out to Alicia to get Saya, we gonna make it happen. All right, I promise. Mark my
All
word.
right now, all right now. Don't be texting me when your bill $100. I went on vacation. I went on vacation. So I had my mom, watch Harmony, because like I said, Harmony deals with separation anxiety. So I said, Mom, well, she can't be. We do not leave Harmony alone. I'm gonna put that out there. We do not leave her alone. Someone is always watching her, because at any time Harmony will have the thought that she doesn't want to be here anymore. So someone is always watching her. But I went on a trip and I had my mom come here and watch her. And I said, Mom, I'm going to be gone for a minute. Give her whatever she wants. Because once she gets to that place that she realizes that mommy is not here, Harmony turns into a whole different person. She shuts down. She don't want to be bothered. She's crying. She literally cried for 2 days until I got home. So I said, Mom, just give her whatever she wants. And I was just basically talking about, spend time with her, take her to the park. But Harmony wanted to go to Five Below. So my mom took her to Five Below, and she said, "Well, you said give her whatever she wants." And my mom bill was like $50. And she was like, "You said to give her whatever she wants." And I went to Five Below and I spent $50. I said, Mom, I want to talk about money.
Okay, well then that's the case. I'm capping you at $50. I'm saying, Harmony, you get whatever you want. Once it hit $50, that's it.
Wait, Kia, Sai was younger. Can I get $50?
Alice, all the time. My goddaughter, she's 13 now, but when she was small, like 3, 4, 5, she used to always ask me for $50. Like, you 4 years old, what you gonna do with $50? Well, that is really the end of our interview. So we just want to thank Harmony as well as Alisha for just taking time out of your, because I know you busy
Thank you for
girl.
having us.
I'm so
Thank
excited.
you.
I cannot wait for this
Me
episode to air.
too. Me too.
All
Thank
right.
you guys for coming.
Thank you for having us.
So for today's spotlight, we always like to highlight someone who has either passed away by suicide or survived suicide. And for today's episode, we are highlighting Traeh Thyssen. He was from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and he died at the age of 13 on October 3rd, 2019. And Trae's name is Hart spelled backwards. Traeh, we just keep you in our thoughts. We wanted to, spotlight you and bring awareness to your story and keep you in our memory. And for today's resource is actually also related to Traeh. It is ihaveaheart.org. And it's an organization that provides like information and resources about bullying and suicide prevention. And you can actually check them out at ihaveaheart.org, on Instagram at traehthyssen.haveaheart. It's actually run by his mom, Roslynn Thyssen, And she sent us a really nice video.
Yes, she did. So if you haven't saw it on our Instagram, you should definitely check it out. Or we probably should we'll play it again. We'll have it because it may be too far down on our on our Instagram account by the time this airs. But we'll definitely include that video. His mom is amazing, and she's doing some amazing work. She had reached out to us on Instagram and shared her son's story. So we're definitely I'm just amazed at how she's taken such something that was so tragic and turned it into an organization to honor her son, but also to prevent things like this from happening to other children. And so I think we should definitely probably bring her, Miss Roslynn, on the show.
Yes.
To
She would be a great guest.
Yeah, she would be. So yeah.
Okay, so for our community change maker, I'm so excited. She's so special to me. Um, Today we want to highlight Kiera Flipping. She is the CEO and founder of Core Empowerment, which is a counseling service in the DMV. It's located in Prince George's County, Maryland. They do psychotherapy, yoga, Reiki. She also has her own website. She is a psychotherapist herself. Again, she teaches yoga. She's a Reiki master. You guys can find her at kieraflipping.com, coreempowerment.org, and she also has a podcast herself, Afro Chi. So you can also check her out at afrochi.com. And fun fact about Kiera, she was my therapist. I remember when she first broke away and started her own, company with Core Empowerment. And I remember the first appointment I had with her. I walked into the office, y'all, and I cried. I was so proud. Kiera, if you're listening, hey girl. So yes, definitely check out Kiera. She is definitely a community change maker. She's very into holistic healing. So, be sure to check her out.
Yeah, I'm glad that because y'all know one thing about us, we gonna get y'all the scoop on the good therapists,
Right.
especially some of the ones that we've been able to work with. So Jordan has had a great experience with Kiara, so we had to shout her out for our community change maker segment. So now, oh, and then also I should mention that we will any links or resources that we mentioned, they will always be in the description box and or if you're watching on YouTube, but if you're listening on a platform such as Apple Podcasts or Spotify, those links will also be in the show notes as well. And so now kind of just getting into self-care. Jordan, what's I don't know. I don't even know what's going on for self-care with me. What about you?
Self care. This is always the segment I'm never prepared for. Like, and I know it's coming and I'm still not prepared. So I'm trying to, again, like incorporate I've been drinking more water, trying to incorporate some healthier things into my lifestyle. I'm hoping that I can get back into some exercise classes because I live in Prince George's County, Maryland, and we have like a parks and recreation agency that does like yoga and probably won't do yoga, Zumba, kickboxing, all kinds of stuff. So I'm hoping I can find a good swim class for the rest of the summer. That's what I'm going to hope to do. What about you?
You know what, Jordan? I'm gonna hold you accountable to that swim class because now I'm gonna start asking because one thing about me and Jordan, we hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
When Jordan hold me accountable, sometimes I don't want to hear it, but I know it's what I need to hear. So I'm gonna hold you accountable about this
And she will.
swim class and asking her, yes, because swimming is something that you love to do.
It is.
So if it's something that you love to do and it's great for self-care, you know, not just the exercise piece, but it helps you feel good.
It's relaxing. I swam a lot before COVID, and then the pool shut down, and I'm hoping to get back into it. So she's gonna hold me accountable, you guys.
So in a few episodes, I'm be like, Jordan, so how's the swimming going? So she's gonna get into her classes. Okay, cool. So I think one of the things I have yet been able to do, and I'm very upset because we're like halfway toward the year being done, and I have not been doing my one reading one book a month, and so I realized that maybe I need to amend that, and maybe that's just not. But I really do enjoy like reading, actually like flipping pages. But maybe I should not be so rigid and just have myself to be like, okay, maybe this month you can read a book. I have a Kindle as well, like the actual Kindle device, and saying like, okay, this month you can, read your book, but maybe next month it has to be a audible, depending on what you have going on. And I feel like that's sometimes I don't do a great job at like bending and being flexible, but I do, and I want to need to make time to actually sit down and read a book because I actually do enjoy it. But I need to just tell myself like, okay, maybe again, if this time you can't do it, maybe this month it could be an audible. But that's my goal, is to definitely listen to more audibles, but also just read. So,
Yes, I love that because I love reading too. And I also, it's something about like having the book in your hand.
mm-hmm.
But this past year, I've done an audio book and I've read a book on my iPad through like the Kindle app. And I have to say, I actually enjoyed it.
See, and you know about the Kindle, what I love. So I could put it on my like my iPad, but the actual Kindle device, what I like about that is that there's no Instagram on there, there's
Mm-hmm.
no Facebook there, so it's just the book. So if I have the Kindle on my phone, or if I have it on my iPad, if a notification, unless I silence my notifications, but even if I do silence it, I still may be tempted to get out of the Kindle app and log into TikTok, and then before I know it, 3 hours done scroll by.
Right.
So I'm really, but I do, and then even like with the Kindle, I like doing little mind games with myself. So like it'll be like you're 60% through, so I'll be like, okay, let's by the end of today, let's get to 70% or
Right.
seventy five
Right.
percent. So that I do like doing. So I'm gonna say for self care, not just reading more, but actually set this goal that I have to finish reading Viola Davis's book that I started back in December. It's like, okay, T-Kea, get it together. So I'm more than halfway through the book.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm at like 65% or something.
Okay.
So, but it's yeah. So that's for self care. I really want to read more, and more just in the sense of not just like mental health stuff, but just like books in general. Like I want to read more books on entrepreneurship because now I'm managing multiple businesses. More entrepreneurship, more on networking, or more on just whether it's fiction or nonfiction, like whatever, just reading overall. So yeah, that's my check-in in terms of self-care. And for our moment of inspiration, we want to give some words of encouragement, and I think Alisha did a great job at that. Since we're talking about children and them struggling with their mental health and suicidal ideation, is that for any parents who may be feeling guilty about their child's mental health, that we want to remind you that you're doing the best that you can. Like Alisha, she's doing the best that she can, and Alisha, I know Alisha personally, and she's an amazing mom. And so a lot of times, parents do feel a lot of like, especially moms, mom guilt. I'm not gonna say dads because I'm pretty sure they may, but I just know for women it tends to be different.
Right.
And so just know that you're doing the best that you can, and we want to encourage you to seek mental health support for your children as well as yourself, navigating this journey. And we would refer you to 988 because 988 can connect you with a crisis counselor on the line. They're mental health professionals that can connect you to resources that are actually in your community. So I don't know if there's anything else that you might want to add.
Oh, you know what? I think you should talk about really quick the mental health first aid for youth.
Oh yes, that's actually a good plug. But yeah, also, but I will say too, just to think about making sure that you're taking care of yourself as a parent, because I kind of talked about putting your mask on first before putting on someone else's mask. So yes, you of course, as parents know their role as parents, but also still making sure that you're not neglecting your own mental health and self-care as
Right.
well. So a great resource is actually a course that I teach, and it's called Youth Mental Health First Aid. And it's an amazing course. It's very long to take, and it is a time commitment, but it's so worth it. Parents get out of as long as I've been teaching this training, parents always talk about how beneficial it is. So it's a training that teaches you how to recognize signs and symptoms of mental health as well as substance use challenges within children and best ways or effective ways to support them. A lot of times we do things that actually end up causing harm, and it's not because we're intentionally causing harm on children. It's just because we don't have the lack of education
Right.
or the lack of knowledge. And so I would encourage you, if you're interested in taking youth mental health first aid, you can feel free to reach out to me directly. I'll be sure to put my email in the description box as well as the show notes. Reach out to me, T-Kea at TakeaBlackman.com. I host trainings, but even if you don't take it with me, you can take it with another instructor. But if you are interested in learning more about youth mental health first aid, you can definitely reach out to me. And yeah, I think so. That wraps up another episode of the Black People Die by Suicide 2 podcast. Thank you all for tuning in and listening, and we'll catch y'all on the next episode.
Hey y'all, so the episode is not quite over yet. Let's bring it back for a second. September is Suicide Prevention Month, if you didn't know. And so many of y'all reach out to us and say, I want to get involved. I want to support y'all. Here are literally 6 ways that you can support us this month. We are continuing the conversation, and we are making sure that Black people are a part of the suicide prevention and awareness conversation. On Tuesday, September 12th, we are working our way to Detroit. Well, that's virtually, of course. And we're partnering with the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, and we will be guests for their Courageous Conversation. That is Tuesday, September 12th from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will be on Zoom. All links for the events that I mentioned will be in the description box. On Monday, September 18th, we're working our way to NOLA Baby, so New Orleans Black Mental Health. I mean, that's virtual, of course, but we working our way, okay? And that will be an Instagram Live, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we're hosting our very first support group called Black and Suicidal, the peer support group. That will be Thursday, September 21st from 5:30 to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and that will also be virtual. On Saturday, September 23rd, we're hosting Youth Mental Health First Aid from 9 to 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, and that will also be on Zoom. Now, that training, I will say, requires some work. So you will have to take the training in order to get your certification, and there's also some pre-work and some post-work you have to do. So it is a bit of a time commitment, but it is so worth it because you will become certified in youth mental health first aid. So just like we have CPR, when you get certified, so you know how to help someone physically when they're struggling. Well, think of CPR for the brain, and it's geared towards adults who want to know how to best support their children, or even if you don't have children, you a teacher, you're a principal, you work for an organization, you work with children's, you're a guardian, you're a foster parent. This training is for you. It will give you the tools and the knowledge to effectively assist children who are struggling with mental health and substance use challenges. You can also be, again, as I mentioned, get certified. And then lastly, Together We Care by the Maryland Behavioral Health Administration Office of Suicide Prevention and Dania Institute. This event will be in person, y'all. So if you're in the DMV, come out and see us Thursday, September 28th. I believe the event starts at 9 a.m. I have to confirm that, but the information will definitely be on Instagram, but we'll be there all day because it is a resource fair, and that will be at Martin's Crosswinds, 7400 Greenway Center Drive, and that is in Greenbelt, Maryland. See, I told y'all, there's literally so many ways that you can support us. Lastly, if you didn't know, now you're about to know. Black People Die by Suicide 2, as I mentioned before, we actually made an announcement on Instagram that we are also a nonprofit. We are no longer just a podcast, y'all. We will be doing so much. When I say Jordan and I have been working our butts off to make sure that our baby, our nonprofit, and the podcast is successful, you can donate to support the work that we're doing. And you can also volunteer. We're looking for 2 volunteers to help us with social media, event planning, and administrative tasks. So if you're interested, feel free to send us your resume to info@blackpeoplediebysuicide2.org. Again, that's info@blackpeoplediebysuicide2.org. Thank you all so much for supporting us, and we look forward to hopefully seeing y'all virtually or even in person during this month. This episode was sponsored by the Mental Health Empowerment Agency, where its mission is to dismantle the mental health stigma and raise awareness of suicide prevention through curated events, individual and group peer support, digital and social media, and educational trainings.